Hi, thanks for joining us at Microsoft Build. My name is Charles Amana, and I lead the engineering teams for low-code platforms at Microsoft. I'm here at Gasworks Park in Seattle, Washington, once a synthetic gas manufacturing plant and now a city park. 100 years ago, these structures produced fuel for Seattle's streetlights, homes, and businesses. Gas from this plant was the primary source of energy here until the 1950s, when natural gas came to Seattle and the plant became obsolete virtually overnight. The energy industry evolved and the facility became irrelevant. Over the past few years, we've seen the same rapid evolution across industries, and companies are looking for new ways to stay relevant. Nearly all of them are looking to become digital. Today, every company needs a software development strategy and must embrace technology. This is more important than ever after the events of the past year. The COVID-19 pandemic has only accelerated the need for digital solutions. In fact, 70% of senior business executives say the pandemic has accelerated transformation in their industry. In retail, brick and mortar companies have had to embrace curbside pickup, contactless payments, and e-commerce. In healthcare, doctors' visits have moved virtual. Now everyone expects digitally native experiences, and that requires us to create new software. And the list goes on. Every aspect of our personal and work lives has changed forever. To stay relevant, unlike this facility, when rapid change hit the energy sector, organizations in every industry need digital solutions to get the job done. And that means they need developers. To seize this moment, where developers are at the center of every industry's transformation, we need to think a little different about how we do development. At Microsoft, we've been on this path for a while. We're here at the Garage, which was the site of Microsoft's first ever company-wide hackathon in 2013. Our hackathon is unique. It's open to everyone in the company, not just coders. That's because we know that development and product management must speak the language of our customers, users, and industries. And since that first hackathon, we've seen a growing need for industry-specific solutions, applications and AI that understand financial services, manufacturing, retail, healthcare, or other key industries. We expect to see an explosion of these industry-specific projects that are tailored for their space. That is because software customers are increasingly looking for direct solutions to the problems unique to their industry. And for us developers, we will need to respond to this shift in every project we are working on, whether you build a SaaS product or work on internal IT projects. It is not just about writing code to get the job done. It is also about composing higher-level services from code to reimagine our development environment. And there are two pieces to this, starting with the Microsoft Cloud. First, just like each generation of programming languages abstracted more concepts, like moving from the binary code that powered the first programmable computers in the 1940s, to assembly languages in the following decades, to third-generation languages, cloud development is embracing higher-level services. We've been developing software the same way for almost 50 years. It's time to do something different. We have to move from code to composing clouds and components. That means moving from infrastructure to platform as a service, to low-code platforms, and then even applications as a platform. This is the easiest way to build modern SaaS in the cloud, and it is important to look beyond standard pro dev tools like Azure. If you look at the Microsoft Cloud, each piece plays a part in building out your SaaS. When you look to develop a SaaS product or line of business application, you can use Microsoft 365 to create experiences where users are already collaborating and working together. Similarly, you can use Dynamics 365 as a starting point for common processes in your app, like engaging customers or managing a supply chain. These are key parts of countless SaaS applications. Another piece is the Power Platform, which includes Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent. These low-code components in your software enable your users to modify and customize a solution to their needs. That can be things like modifying logic or user experience for each customer, to add custom workflows or to create visualizations and reports. This end-user customization is critical, with low-code and no-code being one of the most important factors in SaaS products these days. And this is all in addition to the many amazing Azure Services and Visual Studio family of developer tools. But it's not just about the Microsoft ecosystem. The Microsoft Cloud integrates with any data source out there, with over 450 data connectors, which work across Power Platform, Azure Logic Apps, Azure Data Factory, and more. You can always connect to the existing systems and data estate for any customer and in any environment. When you connect your data estate to the Microsoft Cloud, you can build powerful, intelligent solutions that deliver unprecedented productivity and collaboration. For the second piece, there is another layer to building your SaaS apps, and that is the industry cloud components from Microsoft. The Microsoft building blocks aren't just powerful horizontal services. They also include industry-specific connectors, data models, and APIs that enable you to move faster as you address the unique needs of your organization. And just as common programming libraries, like the STL and C++, made it so you didn't have to reinvent linked lists or vectors with each project, we have a common set of components for each industry you can use to get started quickly. That means if you are working in the banking industry or building software for the banking industry, you need to start with our industry clouds. And the same for all the other industry cloud components that we offer across healthcare, retail, manufacturing, and for nonprofit. Let's talk about some of these industry-specific components. In healthcare, we have the Azure APIs for Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources, or FHIR. With this, you can rapidly exchange data in the HL7 FHIR standard format with a single, simplified data management solution for protected health information, or PHI, and can connect to existing data sources, such as electronic health record systems and research databases. You don't have to reinvent that for your project. There also are even more comprehensive, industry-specific components available. These components wrap and configure many different Microsoft services. For example, the Microsoft Cloud for Financial Services provides a comprehensive, unified customer profile. This profile uses Dynamics 365 Customer Insights and Azure services together to enable financial, behavioral, and demographic data to tailor customer experiences with a 360-degree view of the banking customer and suggested next actions. This can be seamlessly leveraged and embedded with your own solution. Instead of spending time rebuilding the customer profile, you can focus on creating differentiated financial service scenarios with advanced AI and microservices. The idea is to reuse as many of the Microsoft industry components as possible. This is how today's developers will create differentiated solutions and software offerings. So these two pieces are what enable unprecedented speed when building your SaaS products. You have a whole other layer that can be used to turbocharge your projects. And to show what it means, let's see a demo. For this demo, Justin is going to show us how Finaster, a global financial service provider, is leveraging the Microsoft Financial Services Cloud, Azure, Teams, and the Power Platform to help expedite the time to develop their student loan tracking app. Justin, take it away.
Thanks, Charles. We're excited to work with Finaster, a global leader in financial services technology. Their solutions serve 90 of the top 100 banks in the world, and they're using Microsoft technology to power their ongoing digital transformation. I have the app Charles talked about open right here. It's built on Power Apps. I'm also going to show you how Finaster enhanced their loan processing solution by leveraging the Microsoft Cloud for Financial Services, allowing Finaster developers easy access to fundamental data sets relevant for this industry. This also means that any changes or updates to data will cascade through all apps and services connected to this data. This app was designed to help students access student loan disbursements and enables loan managers to easily track batches of loan disbursements. Let me show you some elements of the app. First, I'll select the funding and payment types. Then, generate a batch summary. Second, viewing the list of borrowers and institutions the payments are going to, I can select the details for an individual loan recipient, for example, Corey Gray, and decide from the app whether to allow or reject the loan disbursement for that individual. Third, once the batch information is ready, I can choose whether to defer the batch disbursement or not and provide a reason for deferment. Once I do that and click Next, I can then click OK, which updates the batch data in Finastra's legacy on-prem system. The OK button uses an independent publisher connector, which sends a message to an API to update Finastra's legacy on-prem systems. Let me show you the rich features of this app and how they were created. While Finastra developers love creating custom apps like the loan disbursement app, they are excited about the possibility of faster development times by leveraging components of the Microsoft Financial Services Industry Cloud. Finastra developers are considering implementing the Unified Customer Profile app, which combines customer data, such as financial strength, key life moments, and groups, with behavioral data to anticipate customer churn and understand lifetime value with pre-built AI for FSI. Here in the app, you see the rich financial data available on Corey Gray, whose loan summary we saw in the loan disbursement app previously. I can see his full profile, including total income, assets, and total liabilities. I can also see his life moments and his financial holdings. I can even get a risk rating based on the pre-built AI for FSI, which shows Corey as low risk. This incredible app is available to Finastra out of the box, and both this app and the Finastra Custom Loan Disbursement app are created with Power Apps using the new Modern App Designer. The new App Designer enables assembly of a fully responsive application backed by Dataverse in just a few clicks. Let's look at how Finastra is using these Microsoft tools to enhance their solution. Here's the loan disbursement app in the Modern App Designer canvas. With the Modern App Designer, I can create a new page, select the page type, and then I'll search through all the tables and grids stored in Microsoft Dataverse and select the one I'm looking for, which is contact. And then I'll add it in. And just like that, you can see that the Unified Customer Profile app has been dropped in the existing Finastra Loan Disbursement app. I can open the Corey Gray profile. Now that I have Corey's details visible, I can click through different display options to dial in the right one for my target devices. With the click of a button, Finastra has quickly added the fully functional Unified Customer Profile as an additional page in their custom loan disbursement app. From the App Designer, I can go deeper and even edit forms. First, I'll open the disbursement payment form, which you see here. Next, I can edit the disbursement payment form by clicking the three-dot menu on the right and clicking Edit right here. This new page opens after that. When this new page opens, I can edit fields from the tree view on the left here. I can also edit tables and table columns from the table view. And I can even add components by clicking Components on the left as well. But there's one more thing that's super exciting that I want to share. If I go back to the Modern App Designer, you'll see a button at the top here, New Custom Canvas page. With just a click, I launch into the Power Apps Canvas Designer. The really cool part is rather than create a new app type, I can quickly design a page to work inside of the rest of the loan disbursement app. I can use familiar Canvas concepts, such as using shared components built within Finastra. In this case, from the left nav under Custom, I'm going to add a filter selection and payment details onto the canvas, which were pre-built for me, and I'll drag those to make this look a little better. Pretty amazing stuff with both the Financial Services Industry Cloud and Power Apps for these front-end app experiences. Let's now look at the Loan Disbursement App's independent publisher connector, developed by Finastra's professional developers. This is a great example of how the Power Platform empowers Fusion teams consisting of pro and citizen developers to seamlessly and effectively work together. Here you see the independent publisher connector in Power Apps Studio, which starts as a custom connector. If I go to the Power Apps canvas, you can see here how the independent publisher connector is linked to the OK button from the loan deferment option on the app's front end, which we saw earlier. This independent publisher connector is of course crucial since it sends a message back to an API via Azure API Management to update Finastra's on-prem legacy systems with the latest loan batch data. The independent publisher connector is a special Azure API management connector and directly exported from Azure API management. The connector is based off a custom API created in Visual Studio, requiring ASP.NET Core Web API Project, .NET 5, or as a function. With the newest version of Visual Studio, you can import functions into API management, thanks to the new Open API output support we've introduced for function developers using .NET. After looking through my code, I'm ready to publish to Azure without ever having to leave Visual Studio. I can import the APIs using either Web API or Functions projects into API management at publish time. By switching to the publishing dialog and clicking New, you can see I have many options of where to target my app, such as a Docker-compatible container registry like Docker Hub. In this instance, I'm going to publish directly to Azure, then specifically to Azure App Service, as you see here. After choosing my specific target, I then choose App Service and API management resources. In this case, my team has already created the resources I need in the Finaster folder, so I'll use them there. Now, Visual Studio has identified that my project is an API project, which can be ingested and published to Azure API Management. Now I can deploy directly from Visual Studio to my Azure resources. Or I do something even better, which is set up a CI/CD workflow using GitHub Actions that allows continuous deployment as we work on our API. Then Visual Studio creates a workflow for me with all the necessary secrets to deploy to Azure and Azure API Management. I can even see the workflow in my GitHub repository, and everything is green. To round out an exceptional end-to-end loan processing experience, Finastra is also thinking of using the Loan Manager app in Microsoft Teams. This is another app available as part of the Microsoft Financial Services Industry Cloud. The app is designed to manage customer meetings, tasks, documents, and approvals. Also, since the app is available in Teams, it allows for seamless collaboration across the Finastra lending team. For example, with Loan Manager, we can easily track the progress of Corey's student loan application. I can get a full summary of where we are in Corey's process, a log of all activities during that process, details of the loan in question, potential meetings we need to have, and a list of outstanding tasks needed to complete for the loan application to be done. Perhaps most important, since this app is within Teams, it connects the entire loans team so that decisions and tasks can be quickly made and executed. This app is also created with Power Apps and built on Microsoft Dataverse. I'm now back in the Power Apps Studio where I see the Loan Manager app here. I simply can choose to right-click and add that app to Teams. This creates a zip file, which includes the manifest JSON for the app, as well as the schema for integrating the app into Teams. Now that it's downloaded, I can simply go to Teams and upload the app to either me and my team or for the entire org. Imagine creating great custom applications and scaling usage across teams. It is another way we empower developers and enable their applications to be easily adapted and used by many users. And hopefully, even as a seasoned developer, you see the benefit of leveraging Power Platform and Microsoft Industry Cloud to help accelerate and enhance applications and solutions and combine the best of your coding skills with line of business owners and teams. Thanks very much. Back to you, Charles.
Thank you, Justin. In this demo, we just saw many different pieces of the Microsoft Cloud and Industry Cloud components at work. The Finastra application experience was built inside of Power Apps, which makes it easy to create customizable and configurable user interfaces for Finastra's customers. Within the Power Apps experience, it was easy to add the 720 view of clients that comes from the Microsoft Cloud for Financial Services. This component adds banking-specific details to Dynamics 365 customer insights and added depth to the loan approval process from Finastra. All of the data from this app was also stored inside of Dataverse, which is a great low-code data platform that is fully managed and available inside Power Apps. Then, when Finaster wanted to introduce additional logic and integrations, they were able to build a microservice, host it in Azure, and then register it as a custom connector they can call from inside of Power Apps. And with this combined experience, it works great inside of a browser or a mobile device. A key part of any loan process is collaboration. And for that, Finaster was then able to embed the whole experience as a collaborative application inside of Microsoft Teams. A typical SaaS app taking advantage of the full Microsoft cloud would use many more APIs, components, and apps. And today, I wanted to highlight two others in particular: Azure Cognitive Services and Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. Cognitive Services brings AI to every developer without requiring any machine learning expertise. All it takes is an API call to embed the ability to see, hear, speak, search, understand, or accelerate decision-making in your apps. The computer vision capabilities are incredibly robust and some of my favorite services available in Azure right now. That includes the ability to analyze content and images in video, detect people and their emotions, and the ability to understand paper and digital forms. This last ability to understand digital forms and text is remarkable. The service comes with pre-built understanding for common ID cards like driver's licenses and passports. Calling this functionality from your code is incredibly easy. I'll show you. All you have to do is use the Cognitive Services SDK and load up your account details. This includes the endpoint and the client credentials. Next, just stream in the image or file containing the form. In my case, I want to understand ID cards. This works for local files and over the network. Then you get back a response object that has all the properties you care about. That's it. You can then read the address, country, date of birth, expiration date, and so on. Just a few lines of code, and you can add ID understanding to your SaaS app. For folks that work in healthcare or financial services, this is table stakes. Almost every critical process requires some kind of identification, and you can now move from the analog ID to a digital representation with one API call. As the other example, Dynamics 365 Customer Insights brings together transactional, behavioral, and demographic data in real time to create a 360-degree view of your customers or users. Dynamics 365 Customer Insights supports dozens of different data sources for ingesting data, which is then joined together with AI to create a single profile for users. This unified profile can then be used inside of your app with just a single API call. For any SaaS app that needs to deliver a great customer experience, for example, in retail, software, or healthcare, it should hold a unique spot in your stack. And this is something we do in all of our SaaS apps at Microsoft. We dynamically show experiences and options to users based on the information inside of their profile, derived from dozens of digital touchpoints. Now, you can do the same thing in your applications, and easily. Let me show you. First, you need to load up configuration for your application. That means things like your application identity, secrets, and API endpoint. Then you need to initialize the Customer Insights client with this configuration. Now you can make queries based on lots of different fields, including fuzzy or partial matches. That can be things like birth dates, names, phone numbers, and more. Or if you have a unique identifier like customer ID, you can use that too. The response from the Customer Insights API includes all the potential records that could match your query. With just a few lines of code, we're able to know your customer and make your app smarter. And this is just scratching the surface of what's available. Within the Microsoft Cloud across Azure, Dynamics 365, Power Platform, and Teams, there are countless building blocks that can accelerate your SaaS apps. And on top of that, you are always secure and compliant and have a global reach. The Microsoft Cloud, including the industry components we talked about today, is available in over 60 different regions across the world. This ensures that you can always be close to your users and you can support growing data residency requirements. All of these regions have the full backing from Microsoft Security. This is powered by over 3,500 cybersecurity experts and works with Azure Active Directory, Azure Networking, and device management. And all of this has contributed to the world's most compliant cloud with over 90 different certifications. This includes critical ones across many industries like PCI and HIPAA, as well as GDPR and CCPA for privacy. All of this means that you can spend more time writing code and less time figuring out how to work through these details. These Microsoft Industry Cloud components are not just about financial services. It also extends to all types of industries. A great example of this is how Adobe as an ISV and Walgreens as a healthcare retailer use the Microsoft Cloud to transform the healthcare experience. It is an amazing example of building on Microsoft's approach to industry to create something special. Let's take a look.
Within the retail sector this past year, we've seen firsthand how COVID-19 has really dramatically changed the business of retail. Things like curbside and in-store pickup made up about 25% of our retailers' orders, so just dramatic increase. As we look back over 2020, it was really a forced quick switch to the digital-only reality that really stretched the capabilities of many brands.
It has been such a powerful partnership, and with WPA combining previously disparate customer data sets, including information from more than 100 million active users across Walgreens and Boots loyalty programs into a single unified view of the customer. This partnership between Microsoft and Adobe allows WPA to harness the insights to deliver more engaging and personalized experiences, while also respecting the fact that there is privacy choices of our patients and our customers.
I think Adobe and Microsoft coming together is really showing up strong in front of these customers and being able to address the concerns and needs of all the various stakeholders. And when we do that, I think we drive really bold, innovative, fantastic solutions that drive great customer experiences for our joint customers.
It's exciting to see where this can go because we're two committed companies focused on the healthcare in the world.
Our time is now coming to an end. We have covered a lot of ground today, from Gasworks to the development garage, and from the Microsoft Cloud to industries. And we went on this tour because the way we develop in the cloud is changing. When you create your next SaaS app or line of business solution, all of these Microsoft Cloud components will make it easier than ever before. And as you look to add industry-specific experiences, the Industry Cloud components can help you move even faster. A lot is changing, but it has never been a better time to be a developer. I hope you try out these different solutions. Happy coding.